intelligent and surprisingly good-looking this evening, so I apologize in advance for offending you, but I'm going to do that now. So, I think we can all agree, I mentioned this last time, but I've done my research. I went to Florida, and left-handed people are just pretending to be left-handed to make our right-handed lives uncomfortable. Which is fine, they can be as left-handed as they like. In the privacy of their own bedrooms. It's not my business. Be left-handed. Touch everything with your left hand only. But just don't bring it, to our schools around our children, where they're very susceptible to influence. And children will want to be left-handed as well. They'll see the smudge of graphite on the adult's palm, and they'll think, yeah, I want to smudge what I just wrote too. That's very much involved. And they can't take it back. That's a choice they'll live with forever. So, I'm glad you agree. So, anyway, the Pope recently says, because we all pay attention to what the Pope says, he's on the cutting edge of what people are enjoying. So the Pope recently said that gender-affirming care is a sin. Because in utero, abortion's obviously a sin as well, but in utero we are all made divine and perfect, and we should not mess with that perfection. But he said the whole thing wearing glasses, which made me wonder whether if he was made divinely, maybe he shouldn't use the human-created glasses to actually see what he'd written down earlier on. So, I mean, just, if he should not use glasses. I love glasses, I think they're a good idea, but I think gender-affirming care is a good idea. But I think he should not be allowed to wear his glasses. So, I mean, and obviously, what a punishment. The poor Pope. I mean, obviously, he would also think that abortion was an excellent idea if choir boys could get pregnant, but that's a different issue. So once, early in my transition, I decided that shaving my whole body was an arduous task. So I thought, well, I'll just use a depilatory cream, the Nair, it's called in this country, on the back it just says, don't use in intimate areas. And I was like, well, okay, I've never been too intimate with my testicles, being a trans woman. Never. They haven't been the most favourite part of my anatomy, so I didn't think, well, that's not an intimate area. I thought it was inside, probably. I won't put it down the hole in my penis. But I didn't do that. But I did healthily put it on my testicles, and then stood there waiting for the cream to work, which it did. So it turns out testicles are an intimate area of the human body. And the only thing that neutralizes chemical burns is full-fat milk you can buy from a grocery store. I've recently been a very healthy person, and I've stopped having dairy in my diet. So I've been drinking nut milk only, of all types. So I was full of nut milk, but I had to cycle on my bicycle to go and get full-fat cow's milk to neutralize the chemical burn that I did myself. So I just, like a tired cowboy, I rode my bicycle, trying not to clang my family jewels against my thighs. Eventually I did get the milk was so cold. It was so cold from the gas station refrigerator, I had to put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. Because for the first time I tried to dip, I used like a tumbler of milk. I mean, my balls were like Tom Cruise up against the ceiling of my undercroft, just trying not to touch the cold milk. So eventually I warmed up the milk, and I mean, I'm not boasting, but I displaced a good half the milk when I finally dipped those poor cherished mauve balls were scarlet. But anyway, the Pope. We had Easter recently. There's obviously not really a God, but but I think the Easter Bunny is probably the real one. Like, if there was a deity, if we're going to just believe in tooth fairy, ghosts, and just, things that we made up to scare people around the caves. I mean, if that gust of wind really is the Lord, frowning upon what I'm doing. And he might be. I mean, you know, he's got fine taste. So, if that were true, I think the deity should be the Easter Bunny. Because then we could just, you know, if we wanted forgiveness, we could look to the hutch in the sky and suckle on the water bottle of forgiveness. Like this. You know, the holiness, His Holiness the Peep, would take our little chocolate eggs as donations. And oh yes, as that's my light, I will give you one last brief story. I went to a sperm bank once. I figured I'd make one last deposit before before scorching my testicles. So I froze my sperm for the good of humanity, just in case. So you're welcome. And, I'm selling vials of it as merch afterwards, if anybody wants it. So I went in as me, and they didn't really know what to do with me, but I thought I'd be going into a sperm bank that would have like a sexy room for the masturbating part, the masturbatorium, the jizz palace of some sort, like where I would feel like masturbating, but it actually was just a regular office toilet. Adjacent to the nurses clickety-clacking on their computers, entering information in silence. And I was inside this toilet with an 1.5 inch gap under the toilet door, easily hearing them do everything, could hear them breathing, so they could hear me masturbating. So my last wank of any substance, oh, poor choice of words, but my last wank of any meaning, the wank I will tell my grandchildren about. All of your grandchildren, I should be clear. That was done in complete silence, and I'd love for you to imagine I was bathed in light, my androgynous goddess body, strumming the golden lyre, breasts moist with perspiration. That wasn't quite the case. It was much more of a sort of hunched, crumpled cave goblin, just angrily, silently and breathlessly trying to fill the container. Which, I mean, I don't know, by the look of everybody in here, you've seen some semen before. And as you know, it can be quite wayward. So getting it in the container is, you know, quite a challenge, which I rose to. I'm a legend. And as I handed the big gold cup back to the nurse, a little bit sloshed out the top, and I said, just take a sip, just take a sip. She took a sip, and then I took a sip, and then we both got quite drunk on my gender fluid. And that's how she became transgender. And thank you very much. You've been amazing. I appreciate your time.